Tongwynlais opened with Birdland, a great opening for any band. Played really well, good round sound. For me, it was a little bit too fast. Stylistically, if you're playing that piece too fast, it loses time. If you're going da 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 da, and if it's slightly slower, da 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 da, it's slightly further back in the beat, and it's just got a more laid-back feel. So that's one thing I'd get them to work on. Great trombone playing, good stylistic trombone playing, but very good opening for the band. Now the Carl Jenkins Euphonium Concerto, a movement from that, a troika tidy. What a great name. Euphonium playing was sensational. I thought he flew around the instrument with great ease, and very complimentary accompaniment by the band. Listened very intently. I thought they pulled this piece off very well. A few slips in the cadenza by the euphonium player. Just lost a little bit of time. There was rhythmic things, but he got back on track. And considering how hard that piece is, I thought he played it brilliantly. It was good, great performance. The next piece they played was the Bonnie Briar Bush. For me, this piece, although it was beautifully played, I think if the band varies the vibrato and not so intense all the way through, it just lost a bit of energy for me. Say, for instance, if you're thinking of a jazz singer, you would start a note and then put a little bit of colour on the end of the note. I would prefer the flugelhorn player could have used that in his playing, just to colour the note at the end. I felt that because they're playing with such intense vibrato throughout, it just lost its energy for me. But it was a good performance. Very tight band sound. They've got a very round, good ensemble. The last piece the band played was the wedding dance. Thought that was a fantastic ending to the programme. Showed all aspects of the band. It was very quick, very precise, articulate playing, and the technique was wonderful throughout. Just a good performance.
When Tongwynlais are playing pieces like Birdland, which they may have done, you go back to the great original recording of it, or the one, particularly the Quincy Jones version of it, or one of the great versions of it, and listen exactly how they phrase it. Because some of the phrasing in that is, because it is a rock-based phrasing, it's very important where you rhythmically place notes. And how they could improve something like that is where they place a phrase where the beat is on the beat. For example, there's a phrase in it which goes ba-do-dee-da-da-da-da-do-dee-da-da-da-da, and that last note has got to be placed on the beat. And what tends to happen sometimes with bands, and it happened today, is that note is just pushed ahead. So it goes da-do-da-da-da-da-da-da-do-da-da. So if you can hear that doesn't then sit, the rhythm doesn't sit on that note. So rhythmically, it's really important that the on beats and off beats are really placed absolutely right in that sort of music, because you've got an 8 beat going on underneath it, and that placement makes the band sink into the 8 beat that the rhythm section are doing. That's important. That's one thing. The other thing is the actual note lengths, so that you play notes right to the end of where they are. Da-do-da-da. So from da-do-da-da, there's no little gap. So you don't go da-da-da-da-da. You go da-do-da-da. So the note goes through the gap between the notes, if that makes sense. Things like that. The other thing is attention to little details like changes in dynamic. So a dynamic which is a mezzo piano, And then there's another dynamic, which may be a mezzo forte, something that's not that much louder, but it really does have to be noticeable, really noticeable. Because I don't know whether this is a physical thing, but when you hear really quiet playing, it does something to you as a human being. And then when it's louder, it does something else to you, I think, emotionally, which is why the composer makes the difference. And if you even those up, you lose something. And I think that's one of the things that they could certainly improve on. And the other thing is absolute detail about where the tempo is going to be and holding on to the tempo absolutely precisely, because it's very fast when you're playing fast, and it was an extremely good program and very well played. Don't get me wrong, it was really well played. But when you have fast numbers, it's really essential to, again, know exactly where the underlying rhythm is, where the pulse is all the time, so that when you get lots of semiquavers, you know where you're starting and where you're ending, and you've got to actually start from there and end there. If you end slightly early or slightly late, then you're going to lose the pulse of the music.
If I was the conductor of the winners today, I would have worked on one very, very important thing, and that is not to lose intensity when you're playing slow. It's very easy as a musician to see those long notes and think that this is resting period. We don't have to do much here. We just press the finger and blow some air and then wait for the next note to happen. But this is where you need to work really hard. There's no reason why these slow, soft parts should be less intense than those really loud and fast parts. And those ensembles that can do that are really, really able to make a difference. Another thing you can do to achieve that intensity when you play slow is to use vibrato a little bit more consciously. Think about vibrato as a very fine and powerful tool to increase tension and also to release tension by playing without vibrato totally, by adding the amplitude of the vibrato, doing it sort of bigger, and then all the way down to nothing. By using that, you could really, really take it to the next level, especially in those cantabile parts.
The band that won it for me tonight, a great dynamic range. They played with wonderful panache, a great team unit.
Roedd ganddyn nhw reolaeth technegol anhygoel, egni diddiwedd a mwynhad pur wrth chwarae.
They had a very varied, extremely well played, extremely thought out, delivered program, and they socked it to the audience.